Hey guys, what's up? And thank you so much for taking the time to enroll in the course. Really excited to have you here. Before we really dive into the content of this course, and trust me, there's a lot of it, I want to kind of overview everything just so you know kind of how everything is laid out and how everything is organized in this course. So starting things off, we're going to start with a mobile editing overview. We're going to start talking about the power of mobile editing, and then we're going to move on to talking about the digital anatomy of a photo, so the things that actually constitute a photo digitally. And then we're going to talk about the ever so common RAW versus JPEG debate, as well as the Adobe DNG file and what that means for you if you're shooting with your smartphone. And after that, we're going to move on to section 2, where we're going to be talking about editing and emotion and how that emotion can translate into storytelling. So we're going to talk about how exposure affects emotion, how the lighting affects your emotion, things like having a bright photo versus a dark photo, or high contrast versus low contrast. And then we're going to move on to color and how color plays a strong role in emotion. Talking about things like color theory, the anatomy of color, really diving into it. That's a really cool lesson if you're interested in color. After that, we're going to talk about how those things affect the storytelling. So what kind of story you want to tell with your image and how the edits can affect that story. So from there, we're going to go on and talk about different editing styles, how to find your style, things like inspiration, where to find it, as well as other tips for finding your own unique editing style, which I think is very important. So I included that lesson. From there, we're going to talk about some apps. Of course, we're going to be talking about Adobe Lightroom Mobile CC, the majority of this course, but there are a few other apps that I think are really awesome, and I wanted to include them in the course just as a added resource. So we have a video on that. From there, we're going to start diving into Lightroom Mobile CC, and we're going to really dive into it, starting things off with a general overview of the entire app and all of the different tabs, and then moving on into specific videos regarding the actual editing process. So importing, prepping the photo, editing the exposure and the color and the effects, everything you need to know basically about the program. From there, we're going to have a few supplementary lessons. One of them is on presets. The other one is on common editing mistakes that a lot of young editors make and how to avoid those mistakes. And after that, we're going to tie everything together into actual real-life editing examples with no pausing, just editing the photo from start to finish and incorporating the various lessons from the course, starting things off with a moody portrait, kind of an epic travel landscape photo, a warm lifestyle photo, and then finishing things off with a kind of a gritty black and white street photo, which I really love. After that, I'm going to give you some tips on how to become a better editor. And these are things that I've learned over the years that others have taught me and that I think are absolutely central for you in becoming a better editor in the future. And after that, we're going to do one last lesson on summing things up, just going over a few last things about the course before the course finishes. But that's basically the course. That's the overview. And now it's time to dive into the content. So without further ado, let's do it.